You are managing a software development project that employs an agile life cycle. During the project, your team relies on user stories to understand the requirements from the perspective of the end user. Which of the following best describes the primary purpose of user story in agile project management? So basically, this PMP style question is asking us, do you understand what is user story? And if yes, can you find out of the below four options, which one describe the user story in the best possible manner? So let's look for these options. Option A, user story in a way to act as a work package within project's work breakdown structure, detailing the specific task to be completed by the development team. So can I say the user story is a element in a WPS? The answer is no. You may think that user story also get decomposed progressively, but yes, it is not something which is planned in the hierarchical manner. It is refined continuously and prioritized with the help of product backlog refinement. So I should not equate work breakdown structure with the user story. I should not equate element of work breakdown structure as a user story. So it is not a WBS element. I go with option B. Let's see. To serve as a singular task that can be assigned to a one developer in a sprint, ensuring personal accountability and task completion. Now, there is a possibility we may assign one user story to a one individual, or the person may self-assign a user story completely to themselves. But that's not the primary purpose of user story. There is a possibility one user story may get collaborated by multiple people to get it done. There is also a possibility that we, in a sprint planning meeting, in iteration planning meeting, we collaborate around user story and create fine-grained task under it before we execute it in a given sprint. So saying user story is a task and it is meant for the purpose of assigning to one individual is little bit doubtful. So let's see if we have a better option, because that's not the purpose of the user story. Option C, to establish a basis for estimation project timelines and resource requirement by capturing detailed user needs and expectation. Yes, user story is used for a purpose of estimation. Yeah, it can be used for forecasting the releases, but it may not be used for calculating the resource requirements. And it is definitely not focusing on capturing the detailed needs and expectation. It is capturing the high level needs and expectation. So it has some elements which might be possible, because we may estimate user stories in story points based on our team velocity. We may predict the release duration and our the time it takes to and the scope of that particular release. But these things may get further elaborated, and these things are not used to calculate and identify who all will be needed. The capacity of the team, or the amount of skills or the type of skill we needed, are usually predicted based on the nature of work, rather than looking at all the user story and then we come to a resource requirement. So I can ignore option C as well. Let's see if we can find some value in the option D, else we revisit these options. Option D, to articulate the need and the desire of the end user is in a simple, concise format that guides the development effort. Perfect. Yeah. So the intent of user story is not detailing the requirement, rather than guiding the requirement. The details of the requirement can be discussed in the verbal communication and can be recorded in the form of acceptance criteria. It is basically meant for the purpose of taking the small slice of requirement which we can develop in a given sprint collaboratively. So option D is the perfect explanation of user story, looking at the remaining, the total four option. Now, this particular question is mapped to our exam content outline task. Task 8, plan and manage scope, process domain task. And we were exploring the topic here called user story. It's the adaptive lifecycle scope management related topic, which is another critical input for your PMP exam, because you may get few questions around user stories and adaptive lifecycle scoping.